Hey everybody, Mr. Simone here again. The purpose of today's video is to be able to identify the domain and range of ordered pairs on a coordinate graph. Alright, as we know, there are different ways to represent relationships. Sometimes it's tables, sometimes it's graphs, sometimes it's mapping diagrams. Sometimes our relationships are continuous, meaning that there's a solid curve or solid line. Sometimes they're made up of pieces, like piecewise functions. And sometimes in this case, we have discrete relationships, which are distinct points. Now, there is a difference when looking at domain and range for discrete graphs compared to continuous. Continuous, we tend to use interval notation, and you can watch a follow-up video to help you with understanding that. If you are given a discrete function like this, you want to make sure that you understand that you're going to need to list all your x values and y values, okay? Even if the relationship is not a function, we can still identify domain and range. So we'll get started with these three problems. For our domain, we always look at our x values, all right? They are known as your inputs. And because we are going to be listing values, we are going to make little braces, okay? It's what we talked about earlier. When you look at your x values, you want to almost think of a picture frame that works from left to right. And every time you hit a point, all right, you want to look at what its input is or what its x value is. So as I move from left to right, you can use a pencil to help you. I'm going to hit -4. I'm going to continue. I'm going to hit -3. This point, its x value is -2. Continuing across, you'll notice that our next 2 points are lined up. It is +2 as our x value. And then the last value is this point, which matches up with 4. So you basically have a set of input values. Each point represents a value that we're looking at. And domain is the lowest x value to the highest x value. Now obviously this relationship is not a function because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. Our input of 2 and our input of -4 have multiple outputs. By definition, it's a relationship, it's just not a function. The next one is our range. Our range is our y values from lowest to highest. I always tell students, think about an elevator. Our lowest possible y value, if we look at our points as you hit, we start off with -5. We continue up, we're going to hit -4. All the way up, we hit another point at 0. Continuing all the way up, you'll notice there's 3 points that are leveled at the same amount, which is 2. And again, we are going to list our input and output values. Number 10, this one is a function. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 points. We're going to look at our domains, again, from least to greatest. Our lowest possible x value is -12. Our next point lines up with -10, then -6. As we move across, this point right here matches up with 4. And then lastly, with 8 is the last possible x value. Again, domain is x value. For our range, if we kind of work our way upwards, we're going to notice that we hit -4 in 2 places for the y value. So -4 is the smallest y value for our output. As you move up, you're going to hit +2. And then lastly, it tops off at 6. All right. And then the last one we'll do for today is this. This is another discrete graph. You'll notice it is not a function. +3 has 2 outputs again, which makes it not a function. A function must be a one-to-one relationship. For our domain, we are going to move from left to right again, farthest left. As we move across, we hit 2 points that line up with -6. Continue across, we're going to hit +3, which has 2 outputs as well. And then we have 9. So this domain, although there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different points, we have 3 specific input values for our domain. For our range, same idea, like an elevator. We are moving upwards from the farthest bottom to the top value. We're going to end up with -12. We're going to hit this point at 0. And again, I'm looking at the y values, +3, and then lastly 9. I've had some students say it's kind of easy to think about when you're looking at these problems is almost thinking of a picture frame. So if you're able to kind of outline where your points are related, when you look at your domain, you're thinking about left to right, you're thinking about what your limits are here in between, and then your range, if you think about your y values, it's lowest to highest. Again, thinking from the bottom and then moving upwards to top out on all those specific points. So I hope this video helps. There is a slight difference between discrete graphs, piecewise functions or piecewise relationships, and continuous. All right, so hopefully you keep watching, and hope this helps.